Hey guys, Coach Mike here with the latest installment of the Base Tip of the Week. And this time we're talking about squatting. Now squatting is a fairly basic movement pattern, but it's one that young athletes typically struggle with, due in large part to muscle imbalances and mobility restrictions that often result from things like poor postural mechanics, growth spurts, and chronic overuse. So today we're going to take a closer look at the squat and one muscle imbalance in particular that can really increase your likelihood of sustaining a knee injury. So let's go ahead and check that out right now. Alright, so when we're talking about good squatting mechanics, the first thing that you want to begin with is a proper stance. And that means setting the feet up about shoulders width apart, maybe a little wider, with the toes pointed straight ahead. Now from here, how you initiate the movement is pretty important. A lot of times young athletes will initiate a squat by driving the knees forward rather than breaking back at the hips. And we really want to encourage that hip break to help start recruit those glutes right away. So from a profile view, this is something you'll see out of a lot of young athletes, especially young females, because they tend to be so quadricep dominant. When you ask them to squat, they will immediately try to stay upright and drive those knees forward. You can even see my heels coming up a little bit. A lot of strain on the knees that way. Instead, we want to encourage a hip break. So what I'll tell my athletes to do to cue them, I'll say pretend there's a door about 6 inches behind your butt, and you want to open the door with your butt. That's going to encourage that hip break. Now, in terms of weight placement, we really want to focus on getting them to commit their weight to their heels and the outside parts of their feet. Because what that's going to do is recruit those glutes and reduce the likelihood where you get a situation where the knees come pinching together, which once again you'll see in a lot of young athletes, especially young females. So when you've got weakness in the medial glutes, and a lot of times with young athletes, tightness in those groin muscles that is pulling those knees inward, it's exactly what you're going to see, knees that cave in on a squat. So in order to avoid this, what we're going to coach them to do, hips break back, weight on the heels and outside parts of the feet, sitting down into a parallel position, driving up and through. From a profile, hands can be on the chest, behind the head, wherever the athlete is comfortable, and really focus on separating the floor with the feet as we recruit those glutes, weight on the back and outside parts of the feet. Now, once you get good at doing that with just your own body weight, you can add what's known as a mini band. Now, these can be picked up at a variety of sporting goods stores, as well as a website called performbetter.com. They come in a variety of different tensions. This is a medium. Once you're ready for the mini band, you can place it on, get it on just above the knees. Make sure that it stays fat so it's nice and comfortable for you. Separate those feet again. Now, even in this position, I can feel this band trying to pull those knees together. So I have to really recruit those glutes to make sure that doesn't happen. Once I'm set up, same thing. We're going to drive the hips back, keep the weight on the back and outside parts of the feet, and I can really feel those medial glutes recruited to help those knees from caving in. From a profile view, one more time, chest up tall, sit those hips back, weight on the back and outside parts of the feet, going down to the point where you're just about parallel to the floor with those thighs. So there you go, 2 different versions of how to do the squat in order to help increase medial glute recruitment and to help reduce your likelihood against knee injuries. Alright, so hopefully you can see how being aware of proper squatting mechanics in general and strengthening those medial glutes in particular can help lead to more efficient squatting and a reduced likelihood of injury. That does it for this time, but don't forget, tune in next week and I'll hit you with another great tip. I'll see you next time.